Hello and welcome to UK Versus. Today we're here to talk about the organized play point structure system, which was introduced last week by Josh and the organized team, where we now have the numbers that we need to achieve and what the thresholds are for each aspect of Worlds, as well as what we'll be getting for local championships and what we'll be getting for regionals. First of all, let's take a look at the points that we need and how this will impact going to events. So if you are in North America, you need 50 points to get into day one. Day one is going to be a more free-for-all Swiss kind of battle where only the top performing players will then be invited to take part in day two. In the NA, to get your day two invite, you need 200 points. This is where the full pricing, the meals, everything will start to really kick in. For EU, we only need 40 points for day one and 160 points for day two. And in Oceania, you only need 30 points for day one and 120 for day two. That 120 for day two, not impossible. And if you go to like both of the regionals, you might be able to sneak in some in there, but that's getting ahead of myself. So how do we earn these points? How are we able to get that? So it looks like we're not going to be having local qualifiers or anything along those lines that helped us get some points last year, because although we had store championships, we also had local qualifiers, which still added up towards points. For participating, just for taking part in a local championship, you'll get 1 point. For top 16, you'll get 2 points. For top 18, you get 4 points. For top 4, you get 6. For being a finalist, you get 8. And for winning, you get 10. So for Oceanic players, winning 3 of your local championships will be enough to get you a day 1 invite. Winning 12 of them, if there are even 12, it's unlikely there'll be 12, will then get you a day 2 invite. For NA and EU, it's a bit harder. We need to essentially win all of our ones. As it's believed there's only going to be 4. And for NA, you need to kind of travel. But once I've gone through the point system, I'll talk about that aspect of it. And for regionals, you get 5 for showing up, 25 for top 32, top 16 gets you 50, top 8 gets you 75, top 4 gets you 100, finalist gets you 150, and champ gets you 200. So taking down a regional gets you into day 2, no matter what region you're in. Being a finalist of an EU one essentially gets you there, because if you attending the other regionals, you'll get the other 2 points. And being a finalist or champion in Oceania gets you a day 2 qualification as is. So doing well at regionals is kind of your only way to get to a day 2, unless you can travel around a lot to get those local points. And that is kind of the crux of this system. Outside of Oceania, who essentially get to a Worlds qualification for showing up to a regionals, because they don't generally have more than 32 people taking part, and with the participation on top, that means they've immediately got their day 1 qualification, but it also costs them a lot to get to Worlds, so the amount of people that will actually show up is probably a lot lower than the people that will qualify. As for NA, it's going to be a hell of a slog. They have some of the biggest events, and for EU, we're still looking at a lot of people that need to top 32 do multiple events to get those 40 points. But you can qualify without ever touching a regional. And that's what was kind of the point of the system. If you have enough locals nearby, if you have enough stores nearby, and you can get to those stores and you can invest your time and money into traveling, you can get the points. And that's kind of the crux of the system, as I said before. It's rewarding people for traveling. The top point earners will get additional rewarding, and that will be rewarding them for the time and effort that they've put into traveling, getting these points, getting out there and spreading the game in the community. And for a select handful of people, especially the vocal people that have been on Discord, and for that, the system sucks. Objectively, I can defend the system. Objectively, I can say this is what the system was designed to do. It's designed to allow people to travel. It's designed to allow people to take part and experience other stores and go to events they may not have otherwise gone to. Because last year, all you need to do is go to Nats and you'd get to Worlds if you did top 8. We did see a lot of people travel. We saw a lot of people going out there, getting points, getting them in. We saw Ben Martin and Mike Hardiman traveling hours to go find events, rack up those points. But after you've invested so much time and effort into getting your points, you've spent a lot of money in the game already, then you have to spend more getting to Worlds. And for people like myself, for the people in Canada, for the people in mainland Europe, the system doesn't work. And it's not this system's fault. This is a great system. This is a great way to allow people to qualify for Worlds. It's a great way for people to be able to rack up enough points, but there's not enough stars. If you look at Canada, if you look at mainland Europe, if you look where I live, you look where a few of other people live, the star numbers don't equate to how many people you can get from there. So I was talking with UVS Hermit, and he was saying that he has one locals and another locals trying to qualify, but more people want to go to Worlds. Worlds is still very elite under the system because of the way the game works. If I talk about my local area, if I look at events I can go to, they are all 3 hours away because my local star, which was 2 hours away, has had to close down, and they're still fighting to keep their events out of a third-party location. But if that goes away, I have no access to points outside of regionals unless I basically travel 3 to 4 hours for each of those events. And to you guys in America, that may not sound like a lot, but with my home commitments, I cannot afford to spend multiple days doing it, as well as the strain that would put on my play, as well as if events run long. It's just not viable. But if I look at the amount of stars in my area that carry games, if I look at the UGN Star Finder itself, I can find multiple stars that UGN see as Universus stars. And there were more on there a while ago, but it has kind of phased out in some areas. And that is where I think the changes need to come now. The organized play system, the point system, is not the issue. If you talk to anyone, including the people from Canada, mainland Europe, the people that are complaining that they don't have it. I was talking to someone from Puerto Rico who was saying they would love to get enough points. I went, cool, how many stars in your area are running events? And he went, none. He didn't say there was no stars in his area, just that they're not running events. And that is the crux. That is the change I need to see. And that is why people are angry. They want to travel. They want to play. But nobody's going to travel 5 hours for a local qualifier to get a fifth, a quarter of the points they need. In Australia, no one's going to travel 8 hours to potentially get 10 points. The point of diminishing return for cost to reward is too low. For regionals, where you can get a day 1, day 2 qualification at the click of a fingers by just doing well in this one event, people will travel. But 2-3 hours is a lot to ask, especially depending on when events start. Having to get up at 6 a.m. to make it to a venue is a lot to ask. The change I think we need to see, the focus in change I think we need to see from people complaining is not complaining that the points score should be lower. It's that UVS needs to be pushing more stars. That is where the change should be. That is where UVS should be looking. That's where players should be looking now. If you want your star, if you want to get the points, go to your stars. Go in there and say, I want to get to Worlds. You've missed Season 1. Get me into Season 2. Get me into Season 3. Get me into Season 4. Get onto UVS. Get this organized play going now. And so I can get these 10, 20, 30 points from these events. Going to your stars. Telling UVS to... reaching out to UVS about stars in your area that you think are interested but don't know where to start. This is what we should be doing as players. Instead of immediately complaining, going, the system sucks because it doesn't work for me though in the situation I am now, look at it from the other side of it. If the situation doesn't work, but the system is fair, it's the situation that's unfair. It's the situation that needs to change. UVS needs to be in more stores. UVS needs to be being played in more stores. The scrambles are great. The scrambles will bring in new players. The scrambles will be great for onboarding. But unless we get people to stay, unless we get stars invested in this game, unless we get to push the community aspect and get more people playing, more stars involved, the complaints will still go on there. And people who have talked to me, people who know me, know I live in the middle of nowhere. But I can tell you there's at least 4 game stores within an hour to half an hour drive of me, one of which is a 20-minute walk away, that I've been trying to get invested in this game for the last 3 years and outright keep refusing. And I've been pushing, and UVS have been pushing, and that is what the key is here. This is not a UVS problem now in the terms of organized play. This is a UVS problem in the terms of bridges were burnt. Stars have got long memories, and despite a rebrand, despite a rename, they remember. And building those bridges, getting stars to trust you and be invested in you and push to have people play the game in there should be the new focus. And we as players can help, but UVS needs to be showing us that they are the ones making this push. The transparency of UVS has gone up. The way that they've talked about this and the way that we've seen that they're going to be going for more simple, straightforward goals this year, this needs to be one of them. Community first, star-based thinking is exactly what Josh has been pushing and exactly what this organized play system is about. We just don't have the star network yet. And that is the change that needs to come in. And I'm sorry for people in Canada who I may have got short with, or I was trying to explain it with and stuff like that when you were saying you're having to travel. I understand that, but this is the point I was trying to get across. The point system is fair. These point totals are easily achievable if every star in our area, if every star within an hour drive of where we were currently situated played this game, these numbers would be perfect. But they're not. And that is the problem that needs to be addressed. This is not an OP issue now. This is a local game start issue. The game needs to be being pushed. It needs to be on the shelves. It needs to be being played. And I'm on the board. The system sucks for me subjectively. Objectively, this is the best system we've had in the last 3-4 years. But subjectively, it sucks. If I lived in the northeast of England, I'd have access to a lot more stars, a lot closer, but I'd also have to be fighting a lot more. If I can go to 5 star championships a season, I'm getting 10 points a season. That means I'm getting 10 points a season if I top 16. That means I am then getting 40 points just for top 16ing 5 stars every season. That is nuts. That is enough for me to qualify for Worlds, just getting top 16 for local events. It is not about the points. It is not about the point threshold. It is not about, oh, you can only qualify if you go to regionals. It's about the number of stars that people are now seeing. It does suck that Canada has been lumped in with North America for this kind of stuff, but this is a local star issue. This is where the focus now needs to be. Getting this game in stars, getting this game pushed, getting stars with this community-focused organized play system. And if your stars have missed season 1, go make that push. Get groups together. Find people who are in your area that are looking to play and take it to stars. If you can convince a star that it is worth their time to invest in this game and it will have the players and they'll make the money, why would they say no? Because they have some outdated image of UVS that hasn't really been true for well over a year now? Convince these stars. Show them the passion that you brought about this system. Show them the passion you bring for this game and infect them with it and get universes into more stars. I keep saying it and I'm going to end off of it here because I'm just getting myself worked up and I'm going to be very angry for the rest of the day now. I've got myself worked up. But this is not an organized play issue. This system is fair. These numbers are achievable. It is just a star issue. And I can fully relate with the people that are struggling under this system. I am with you. I am one of you. But I understand it's not the system's fault. It's just not having stars. And that's the issue. If I could get my local stars 20 minutes away to support this game, I'd be looking at a lot more comfortable points. And that sucks. Having no star near me and having a system that requires me to have a star sucks. But it's not UVS's fault, it's not our fault, and it's not the system's fault. It's the stars. The stars that lost faith, the stars that never gave the game a try, the stars that had preconceived notions of Jasco and took those over onto UVS. We need to help those stars forget the past, convince those stars to make an investment in the future of this game, just as we continue to keep making an investment in the future of this game. UVS and Universus are going nowhere. We're going nowhere. But hopefully, we're going into more stars. I will catch you in the next one. Let me know if let me know if you think I'm right. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. Just let me know. How do you feel about the system? And I will catch you all in the next one. Let me everyone have a great time. It is game night. Critical Role is out. Let's go rack up some points. See you all in the next one.